All right, welcome back to the Truth and Love with Josh. I'm excited about this one because I was so encouraged by Mike Todd and his last message he's preached at Food Church, but the series he's preaching at his church, Crazier, Faith, and this last video he made was on Anointed, imagination. And the reason why this one's so important to me is because I woke up this week and the first thing I thought about was how we need to be able to get our imagination flowing again, getting our creativity flowing again. Myself personally, because so many weeks, months, I would even say years, my creativity and my imagination has been stifled because of just circumstance in life. And so I was watching this sermon from Mike Todd called Anointed Imagination. I was just encouraged because, as a creative, I need that. I need that, extra push for people to let me know that my imagination isn't something that's immature, right? We usually put immaturity with imagination. So when I can think up a purple elephant in the sky with, a green dragon or a rainbow dragon or whatever, people start to say that's kind of an immature thought. But in my head, that's my imagination running free, just seeing the possibilities of what could be, because God created us to be imaginative beings. God thought us up in his mind before he created us. These are things that we know. God created us to be in his image. So he saw an image of himself before he created us, and he created us with his image in mind. And so when we're created, we look a little bit like what God would look like because we're created in his image. And I think that's one thing that we all start to lose as we get older. And even Mike Todd mentions it in his sermon, something we lose as we get older, like something that's taught out of us, we're taught not to be as imaginative as we were when we were children. When we were children, it's crazy the things you can think of, in just a scenario. One thing I do that I don't tell anybody that I do is, so I'll look at like a carpet, and in carpet it has like the little fabrics interwoven, and every once in a while I'll see like a portrait in a carpet. Or I'll look up at the sky and I'll see a portrait in the sky, because I love portraits. Or I'll even look at just like a mess on the ground, whether it be trash or it be mud, and I'll look and I'll be like, man, does anybody else see the beauty in this mess? Because just my imagination starts to play with me. It starts to let me know, hey, let's start creating again. Let's start thinking again. What you're doing right now is exactly what you're supposed to do. And so your imagination is necessary. It was Steve Harvey. I was watching one of his videos, and he says imagination is everything. Once you stifle a child's imagination, you've killed the child. I'll say it again. Once you stifle a child's imagination, you killed the child. And so people start to say, you know what, I'm an adult now. I need to be a doctor. I need to be a lawyer. I need to be a this or that, which is awesome, fine and dandy. But at the same time, don't lose your imagination. Don't lose your creativity. It's what you imagine that creates the future, right? It's what you imagine that creates the future. Those are things we all need to think about. It's not what we've done in the past that creates the future. It's what you imagine. It's things that we didn't see, like physically, that make our future, but it's in your mind, like you can see it. And in my life, I want to be a person who imagines the future and eventually gets to live out what I imagined in my future. I don't know about you, but I want to be able to live that life. I want to be that person that when I took this camera from the beginning and I said, you know what, I might be able to make this YouTube something one day. I want to be able to say, you know what, I saw it before it happened, and so I can reflect back on this video. I don't know what number it is, but I can reflect back on this video and I can say, wow, you imagined this future where you were speaking to people online and you're talking to millions of people that don't even know you, but you're affecting their lives in a positive way with the truth and with love. And so when I watched this video from Mike Todd, it just really made me excited, because he was not only speaking to, me right now, but he was speaking to the child in me that, a lot of times I try to silence, because that's not too mature. People aren't gonna like that you brought out the child in you. It's a child in me that is creative. It's a child in me that imagines. It's a child in me that sees a future that may not exist currently, but might exist if I continue to live my life in a way where I'm creating my future. And I don't know. I just think we all need to take time to sit and imagine more. In my last video, I talked about being still. Maybe be still and imagine. Be still and let God speak to you. Be still and let God do what he wants to do. And let God move in your imagination. Because I feel like the one thing that's missing, not only on YouTube, but not only in your current life, is the fact that you aren't using your imagination. People aren't using their imagination. They're just replicating information and seeing where it lands. And to me, I try that. Like, I try to do videos that, are similar to somebody else's, and I scrap them. Like, I had a whole 7 videos shot and I scrapped them all because that's not mine. It's not what I would do. And I just want to get comfortable with myself, with my presence on screen, right? Well, I imagine what I would be like if I were to speak to a camera. That's what I want to be. And so I change my seating so I can be comfortable with talking. I change what I wear. I change what I do because I gotta be me. I gotta be what I imagine my YouTube videos would be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't be the Ruslan's. I can't be the bigger names out there right now because I'm small, but I gotta embrace myself first. I gotta find out who and what I am before I move forward. It's funny because I think of myself as a jack of all trades, and many people look down on jack of all trades because they say jack of all trade, master of none. And in my head, God gave me creativity, and that's creativity in every area, in music, in art, in design. I'm creative in all areas. Photography, videography, not so much yet because I haven't quite learned the camera, but at the same time, each and every time I pick up a camera, I see something, I want something to change. I want to tweak it a little bit. I want to use a new LUT for my color. Like, I want to change my color grading. I want to learn color grading skills because I'm a creative being. So I'm a jack of all trades. But people say jack of all trades, master of none. And I get discouraged because I think, I should be good at one thing. I need to just shut out all these other voices and focus on one thing. And when I think about that, I think of, I'm shutting out pieces of myself. If in the end, when I'm done, I look back at my life and I say, man, you did everything, but you weren't great at anything, I'm gonna be okay with that. Because at least I tried. And if you really look into that actual quote, it's actually the jack of all trades, master of none, though oftentimes better than the master of none or something like that. I think that's the whole quote. And so if you're somebody like me who's a creative, let's start using your imagination again. That's really what I got from the Mike Todd sermon this week is, we need to be imaginative. We need to go out there and use the brains God gave us to create the futures that we desire, to create the futures for our children, to create the futures for our children's children. We can't do that by doing the same thing we do all the time and relying on the same things that got us as far. No, sometimes we got to give up old habits and create new ones. That's the beauty of life. Sometimes we got to stop eating the bad food and eat some kale, eat some acai bowls, eat some broccoli, whatever you gotta do to change your habits. You might need to do that. You might need to stop going to the club every weekend and start spending time with your family. You might need to stop going out and gossiping about people. You might need to just go home and really just focus on yourself and what you're doing in your life, because it's just as meaningful, right? And so I just want to encourage you guys that this was a good chance. Definitely check out Mike Todd video. I'll link it in the bio. He was at Voo Church and he was talking about the anointing of imagination, because it really is a beautiful thing to have an imagination, to imagine and to create what you see in your head. So I want to thank you guys for watching The Truth in Love. Talk to you later. Peace.